I think it's good to share best practices. So in the context of DHL, we face these exact challenges that I mentioned earlier on, right? That was brought about by the pandemic. However, we take a very strong position in being a great place to work for all. So when we formalize remote work or even flexibility to office workers as part of this position, it is not the only element that we look at. Yeah, on a wider context, we want to create a sense of belonging for our employees. Yeah, being able to adapt to changes and respond to challenges fast and without compromising on our deliverables to our customers and collaborating as one. So these things helped us to stay competitive because we focus on people and their safety. Yeah, because we believe that motivated people delivers great service quality. So with that, we look at enablement of our organization, of course, technical infrastructure, connectivity of the network. Our IT department worked really hard, making available the environment, the digital environment, the tools available, and also upskilling our people in terms of navigating, these digital tools, yeah, increasing their digital savviness. So in fact, our IT department also looked at home office setup for our frontline customer services colleagues to ensure that their delivery of great service quality to our customers were not compromised. So we have to ensure that the setup is right, and good. We advocate also the message of connected stronger, where we launch, leadership package to help leaders in effectively managing their teams remotely, sharing best practice in relation to employees' life cycle. Like what you mentioned earlier on, Bob, what are the events of the employee life events that we need to segregate to say what can be done physically without compromise and what can we do virtually, right, to reap the benefit of it. So things like onboarding, development, training is a big piece, sharing best practices, and also looking out for the employees, not just their work life, but also their in life, in general. So asking how they're doing, regularly checking in, setting up, regular team meetings and one-on-ones are important, especially when you want to deliver feedback. Do you just call without your video, or do you want to look at that person? In the absence of being in the office, right? To watch the body language, to look at the expression. So I think these are all important things that we have been doing. And also we have been emphasizing on having and creating trust is so important to navigate through all these changes. The other 2 points that I wanted to talk about is also on engagement activities. So we do a lot of virtual events, team buildings, health and wellness sessions, lunch and learns program like mindfulness, eating well, because we sit whole day, right?
And all this was done virtually, right? It was all done.
Yeah, during lockdowns, all these have to come up all virtually, right? And then hobbies, right? Like resin, the resin coasters. We had sessions of that for lunch and learns.
What you just shared tells me that, the pandemic actually, increased the creativity of employees.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Definitely. That's one of those things, right? Okay.
Definitely, yeah.
Just keep your thoughts there, right? Okay, because, I want to go down. I want to ask Ulan now, because this is something connected to what you just shared, right? About the productivity. You are connecting all the aspects that led to to productivity. But again, in a hybrid workplace, Ulan, this is for you. We go into goal setting side. So that's earlier we spoke about productivity. Now we need to performance management. Right now we need to know more how important is it to set clear and effective goals. Right? What are you doing at your organization to ensure it stays agile and focused? What are the challenges? So probably you would like to first speak about the challenges, and then probably you can take on the goals.
Yeah, I think some adjustment that we learned from the previous experience, that we cannot say that let's set the goals in the beginning of the year and then let's relook at it and the result at the end of the year, because when we are working remotely, when we do the hybrid, it's quite difficult to monitor the progress, right? Though we have all the tools that we needed, but still we don't know like how we can improve in the middle of the process. So instead of focusing on setting like a long-term only, nowadays my company is setting up in a very clear like a short-term, and then mid part of it, and then the long-term. So we separate in 3 different KPIs that we want to reach in terms of the organization. So we know that we have a regular call with all the BODs on checking how is the progress, even though we have our weekly call with the team. But of course, in terms of the organization, we still also to relook at the whole organization. Is everything okay? Do we everything all the tools is in place? Do you have any support from time to time? That's something that we are trying to monitor from time to time. So we have a very short-term goal also that we can take a look even every 2 weeks we can set up a call to check. Hey, what happened with the team? How is the progress? Anything that we need to do to improve the progress that we are doing right now? And so everyone, if they have any problems, then we can do immediate action, even though we are not meeting directly, right? Because that's something that we are adjust from time to time, do the situation that we give the freedom to the team to work from anywhere. That's the way we put let's call it a control on how we can monitor the progress. And at the same time, since we are focusing on the objective, on the KPI goals of the target of each of department, meaning that we as the leaders have to be thinking always about the strategic plans and how we can monitor them without overseeing them too much. That will be the challenge, like how you can give the freedom, but at the same time, how you can help them if there's anything happen in a very short notice. Because, people sometimes, not every single employee is very mature on dealing with the situation. Sometimes when they stay at home, they, tends to be more, I can do that later. So they delay the work or they got, the disturbance that they actually do not plan. So that will delay the way they finish their responsibility. So how we monitor that without being too micromanaged on the team will be very important. So that's something that we are focusing also, and how we are very agile on it. Well, in terms of agile itself, my company values call it agile also. How we call our values as agile, that, it's accountable, growth mindset, the integrity, and then we are the long-term player, and how we are effective on doing our work. So we try to make the agile to be really the values and to be in our blood as the team, on how we are make sure everyone having the same understanding about that. That means like a lot of conversation happens, as Fiona also mentioned, that a lot of activities online, which sometimes can giving the triggers of the, Zoom fatigue, and then
Zoom fatigue, tell me about it.
Yeah, I know you deal with that also, right?
Yeah.
And then also people start feeling tired, right? That's why we as an HR, that's why HR has to be very creative nowadays. Because,
Wulan,
yes.
It's so important, in an office environment, physical office environment, there is an opportunity to collaborate.
Yes.
Right? You can have tea breaks. You can go to the cafeteria. That social connectivity is there. Right? Hence, you can get a lot more things done over a cup of coffee and sitting down and getting things done. I'm coming to the question of speed here, right? In terms of hybrid working or remote working, speed, can that kind of speed, be achieved, because they are all working outside, they are not in contact. We are all human beings, like what earlier Fiona said, and we thrive when we are in circles or in togetherness. We thrive. Right? So, speed is the key to
another.
Yes. So how agile? Yeah. So how do we overcome that then? How do you overcome constant tracking, constant monitoring? So that means you're coming to micromanage them again.
Yes, yes, that's why. Do you know this is a secret that I learned from my tech team previously, but now become a habit also. So I don't know. Well, allow me to mention two names that actually is a part of a game that my kids playing with, but now become some tools that make us more relaxed on talking to the team. First one, let me mention, we have Discord. I think if you quite familiar, you can check to your kids. I think people know that Discord is like the channel of conversation that, it's very fast and we can talk. Even we can, we have our group and then we can have like a song to play there. So it's accompany us during working. And anytime we want to have any conversation, we just need to unmute ourselves and calling everyone. That's how I do because it's more relaxed, no pressure, and more more fancy. And I'm working with a lot of young people, so I need to be more fancy even though I'm not young anymore, but that's the way I try to understand them. And there is another thing, I think it's quite famous now in Indonesia, they call it Gather Town. So it's just like a game, they
What is
play a
that?
game.
Can you repeat that, please?
The name is Gather Town. So it's actually a game. Then, you can check like, hey, where are you? When you check on the team, it's, oh, I'm in the living room. And there is it's really like playing a game. Then you can go there. This is like using a cartoon and your apps, and then you can go there. And it's like a really meeting, even though the conversation is still using the like right now. But it's I think it's quite famous on the small team on how they manage the conversation without make them feeling that, hey, you keep asking me what I'm doing, but it's really like, similar to you are at the same place. The conversation is really like a daily conversation without giving too much pressure on, hey, my boss is micromanaging. Like every time they call me. No, this is not like, so it's like a two channel that actually quite familiar and quite famous here in Indonesia. First is Discord. I think you can check to your son or your daughter. They use it to talk when they are playing the game. And the other one is Gather Town. This is a tool that make us engage, but not make them feeling that, hey, my boss is micromanaging. Because I don't need to pick up the call and, hey, what are you doing? And checking them. It's just a regular and casual conversation. That's how we are very agile. That's how I push myself agile, because I need to learn about that things. That becomes to like it belongs to young people, and I need to understand about the young people too, right?
Very interesting. Okay, just 30 more seconds. So can I just summarize that? You say that, in hybrid working, they can still achieve all their KPIs. And it must be monitored on a short-term basis.
Yes.
All the goals are short-term, right?
Yeah, because even though you set up the big goals that are long-term for the year, but you need to divide it to like a short-term, so it will be easier to monitor. Otherwise, we will lose track in the middle, and I think people will be disengaged if you are not monitoring. Yeah,
definitely. If you set it beginning of the year and expect to review at the end of the year, people start to get disengaged. Correct? You're right.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. We are on track. Right. Okay. So we're coming to the next question. Okay. And I'm just recalling what Fiona mentioned just now. But their employees were given opportunities to upskill and learn new skills, or cross-skilling. So coming to that. Hybrid work is basically a relatively new concept in this part of the world. Yeah, maybe in Malaysia, maybe not so much in Singapore, but maybe in Indonesia and Myanmar and Bangladesh. It probably is a new concept. There will be naturally, for us to adapt. There will be learning curves, right? And how learning curves as organizations learn to manage this hybrid working effectively. So what are the key competencies that employees need to work on in order to meet the business goals? Because there will be some new skills, there will be some new besides the work attitude, right? Skills, they will need to acquire new skills, and also to gain new competencies. So would you like to share, Fiona? Take it. I'm actually following up on your upskills. There's now upskilling of your employees.
Sure. So definitely this is one area on the digital savviness that needs to be upskilled in terms of having those digital tools, available, right? No point having a very good infrastructure, a very robust, tool, but nobody knows how to use the functionality. So I think that is very critical. The ability to anticipate change and changes ahead and being agile, right? Like what Rennie has said. I think this is a very key competencies to look at, and also abilities to build strong relationship and leveraging strengths, of the community that we are in. The more we need to have very strong work ethics, in employees, being disciplined, having that motivation to contribute towards work, not just work, but purposeful work. So purposeful work is something that is part of the culture we need to inculcate, that continuous learning spirit, and also, bringing purpose to and meaning to the work that they do to fit into a greater picture, so these are important, and also key competencies like results-oriented and focusing on priorities. I think in today's, in a remote environment, is even more needed, that we need to focus, with also much distractions around us. Leadership skills, is also one.
I think we were already prepared for VUCA world a couple of years back already. The world technology was evolving so fast, and there were so many things happening, outside that is beyond our control. And like what when you say VUCA, right? So right now, I think we have adapted ourselves quite well. The only thing I see missing is the learning and development side for the employees. So, probably you like to share some of the practices that happens in DHL. How do you also, besides digital technology, you were speaking about leadership?
Yes. So because when you talk about upskilling, right, it could be the hard skills, right, where the functional technical skills, which is driven by digitalization transformation. We want to make things more productive. So that part of things needs to be addressed in terms of filling that gap of how do we then catch up with the pace, right, with digitalization as a disruptor, right? Work processes, continuous improvement, and then leadership skills needs to be also emphasized on. That's the soft skills. In today we are dealing with multi-generational workforce. We have the new a younger generation that comes in that may value a whole different set of things versus the X generation, where stability counts a lot, and we are still quite rank conscious and things like that. So I think that whole mindset shift is important in dealing with the futuristic workforce. And in a remote environment, how do you enable that empowerment but yet establish trust? Because trust is so key in, I think, back to a question that I saw on the chat, right? How do we make sure that people are not stressed up by all this constant monitoring? But it really goes back to the leadership that you're dealing with in terms of the sincerity, the authenticity, the empathy that's setting in. Being more human. Giving that personal touch to your employees, caring for them genuinely. I think that's the start to making a lot of difference to what we do as a follow-up, right? In terms of delivering goals and all that.
Right. Wulan, very quickly, would you like to add on? Anything?
So I think I am very agree with Fiona that that's the thing that I am doing also right now, because I'm just joining this company, this MIFX company, for 2 months. So a lot of homework to do, and we are also in the middle of transform our HR also, and that's also something that I highlight. So need to utilize the technology. We do the digital part, how we can communicate with the employee, how we empower them, how we really trust them. That's the work ethic things that we are trying to build, right? And yes, learning and development is something that we still need to focus on, because at the end of the day, the long working hours will also take all the energy of the employee, and we need to really help them to see, hey, this is not only about delivering your responsibility now, but this is also, you need to focus on how you develop yourself. Because when you able to upskilling yourself, we know that we can hope you can deliver better results in the future. That's why as an HR, that's the role that we are really need to take a look on, by doing a very clear analysis how we can support them while they doing their work, and also they learn something new. That's actually part of their responsibility, how we can empower others. Something that I think both Fiona and myself love so much, how we can empower others. Right, Fiona?
Yes.
That was the conversation on the previous.
What I'm hearing, trust, empowerment, upskilling, continuous learning, so all these are back to culture, right? It gives a strong culture for organization. Okay, we are coming to 2:58 now, so this is going to be. There's one question in the chat box, but very quickly I'm just going to. Okay, this question comes from Abhinandan. Abi, okay. In this hybrid work model, which is more of remote and less of in-person work, how can organizations be agile but still not compromise productivity? Right? He's asking, how can it be agile without compromising on productivity? And has this monitoring become too stressful? Because once you go into monitoring of short-term, so that means continuously you're tracking. Every day someone is tracking. Your business planning unit, or your strategic planning unit is tracking. And what happened to this boundary? What happened to this? Okay, every time you does it. I think it becomes stressful on mid-management, and I think it's it's a very relevant question, because mid-management is the backbone of the whole organization. They are the they actually communicate up and communicate down, right? So. Has this monitoring become too stressful on mid-management? If yes, what is being done specifically for that group of mid-management professionals? So I've got just about 2 minutes and quick rapid fire with Fiona, and followed by Bulan.
Right. So I think I have mentioned about this earlier on. I think it's important that we start having a change mindset in terms of how we lead our people. Yeah, because that's critical in how then, to alleviate the stressfulness of this, because when it comes across as genuine of supporting and developing further, that would be, the outcome would probably still be the same, but the process of going through is different, right? Because it comes with the intent of care, intent of empowerment, of development that you want, your people. So I think middle management, yes, they take a lot of hit up and down, but I think they also need a lot of support, yeah, from their leaders, as well as the understanding of their direct reports. And it goes lateral ways. Yeah.
I wish we had more time to continue with this discussion on middle management, because middle management takes the heat from up and down, rightly pointed out by you, Fiona. They are the one who kena hantam, so mental health of these middle managers, probably if in comparison, I think that band of middle managers probably suffer the most mental health issues. There may be, I don't have that data to support to support my statement, but it could be, there could be, if there was a survey done for middle managers, they probably can come up with that kind of conclusions. But anyway, we're coming to the end of the show, and there are several things here. Can we just between the two panel speakers, so the hybrid work is here to stay, lah. What is the conclusion? Is hybrid work here to stay?
Yes, definitely. I think Randy agreed. Yeah,
it's definitely going to be the model for the future.
Yep. Agreed.
Future work, right?
Yeah.
So what about those people? There's a lot of huge talents outside there who do not want to go back to office, right? And organize it, and these talents, they sort of wait for the best organizations to bid for them. You know, basically some surveys show that organizations attract better quality talents by practicing hybrid work. Do you agree with that, Wulan?
Yes, of course, I really agree with that. Even though we was in a very painful situation on preparing ourselves back then when the first time pandemic hit, but yes, that will be the next thing that we need to learn and, you know, make a very strategic plan on it.
Basically, talents outside there, you're telling them that, hey guys, only the best talents, you know, come and work for us because you love some hybrid models. Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, what I am trying to encourage to everyone that, hey, you need to adapt with the situation. And
Right.
yes, a lot of company is really open themselves for you. So be ready, because we cannot ask like, you know, waiting for you to be ready. You need to be ready to come up with a new concept, and we are here.
Right. No, I'm just getting warmed up, but it's already 3 p.m. It's already 3 p.m. Fiona. It's already 3 p.m. You know, so you know, so you know, it has been really an interesting session. You know, and with there were so many nuggets shared by both of you all. I really thought that, you know, it was brilliant sharing. And there are some key summary takeaways from Fiona. At least I'm going to summarize some that Fiona mentioned. You know, Fiona had mentioned things like hybrid work is here to stay, right? We all agree that you know that hybrid work is here to stay, but it's a balancing act where organizations need to work out what works for them to reap the best benefit that is presented between the work models in relation to employees experience. So she goes into employee experience and also achieving the business goals. So again here, summarize keyword employee experience, second keyword business goals, right? Achieving the business goals. Then further, to remote work is though remote work is effective, it has to be executed in the right spirit and way to be successful. So that those are two key takeaways that I can take from Fiona. Whereas Wulan, you have actually shared that, you know, the pandemic has taught us to adjust better than we ever imagined, right? So digital now is always part of the important tools in our lives, and we have to work very hard to support the business to keep running. And you feel that, you know, this is the right way to go about in the future. And then you also go on to say that, you know, HR must continue to keep updating about the changes happening around you and make sure that you shy away of any adaptations and adjustments following any decision we make. So basically, this was not the words mentioned by you earlier, but that is the summary which you gave from the questions that you posed right earlier, that these are the key takeaways that the audience will benefit from. So with that, I would like to thank both panelists, both speakers, Fiona and Wulan, for a very enlightening session. I enjoyed it. I hope the rest of the audience also enjoyed it. And to all the people out there from across Asia who have logged in and tuned in, I think Asia HRM offers very good value in terms of knowledge sharing, best practices. So take the opportunity to learn from all your fellow HR professionals out there. Even though I'm not an HR professional, but I've, like what I explained earlier, that my interest is in people, technology, and planet, right? So I would like to take the opportunity to finally thank Rita Sui, who invited me here today to be part of this brilliant panel. Thank you so much, Rita. Thank you, Asia HRM. Thank you to the audience for being so attentive. Sorry we could not take up all the questions, but look forward to engaging you again in future. So until we meet again, stay safe, keep well. Selamat petang,
Let's take a quick picture before we end the session today. Is that okay?
Sure.
So people,
Would you like-
I know people have left. I think no worries. So would you mind if you open your video so that we can take a picture?
We hope that this session was helpful to all of you all,
A
beneficial.
lot of nuggets. A lot of nuggets.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hi, Abhi.
yeah. I think a lot of people have left.
Hi Bob, hi everyone. Sorry,
Hi.
I'm outside,
Hello.
so my video is off.
Okay, let's take a group picture. I'm not sure it's because of live streaming, that's why.
No, it's okay.
Abby, one more
okay.
time. Abby. Okay, so Abby, I believe you already taken a picture, right? Okay, good. Thank you. So
Thank you. Signing off. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.
It's
Thank
been a
you.
Take care,
pleasure.
everyone.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.